The Canadian Card Collector here, and welcome back to day 611 of a daily deck review. And the deck that we're taking a look at today is the Blue Edition, or the Upside Down Edition of the Stranger Things playing cards from Theory11. So, no further ado, take a look and see what we get. But we can't fully look at them until I actually flip them back over, so we can actually see that right side up here. But as you can see, it is in that matte black finish talk box there, with that blue and holographic foiling there. And it is slightly embossed, so you can feel the texture of it. On the front here, it says Stranger Things, Theory11, playing cards. Then you got Theory11 and Netflix. Then in the corners, you got the little Demogorgon little design there. Then in the middle here, like the main thing, you got the main cast here. You got Lucas, Will, Dustin, Mike, and 11 there on their bikes. Then you got the little upside down there with the trees upside down. And you got a little kind of like silhouette of Will there with a door. You got 11's hand there. On one side says premium playing cards. You got the Stranger Things and Theory11 logo. And the same thing on the other side with premium playing cards, Theory11 and Stranger Things logo. On the bottom, you got the Theory11 and the Netflix logo. And then premium playing cards, Theory11. On the back, a little sneak peek of that back sign and some more holographic and blue foiling. For the seal, you got a blue stamp style seal, which says H&L for the property of Hawkins National Laboratory, U.S. Department of Energy, and it says restricted access and Theory11 there, and then I'm not entirely sure what it says on underneath the seal, if there is anything there. But now on the tuck flap here, it says Stranger Things. The inner tuck flaps have two little D&D dice. But now, one of my, first we'll take the cards out of the box. But one of my favorite details on the tuck box is the inner tuck flap here, like underneath the tuck flap. And on the inside, where it has like Joyce Byers like sign that she made there on the wall with all the Christmas lights with the alphabet there, or they light up so you can kind of like read, kind of like a sign language kind of thing there. Pretty little cool detail. And then, oh, I think it's the wallpaper with all the way throughout the inside there. That goes throughout with that silver kind of like metallic ink there. But now I like to look at the top box. Time to take a look at the cards. And as always, we'll start with the back design. So here we have a very shiny back design there with the standard white border. And it is slightly a one-way back design, just because if you look right here in the middle, that kind of like little circle, the waffle design is slightly off center. So it is slightly a one-way back design, but the rest of it's pretty much mirrored there. So it is that blue holographic kind of colorway. There was a little bit of white there. So in the middle, like we got the waffle, we got the clocks, we got the Demogorgon there, we got Vecna's eyes there at the top, then we got 11's hand, we got the phone, we got Max's like little cassette player, then we got the walkie-talkies or radio, and then we got the arcade, the Mind Flare. Just lots of incredible detail. But now for the now for the cards here. We'll start with the first Joker, and you can see the Joker is upside down there. And then if you flip it over, it'll also be upside down there. But for the first Joker here, a little bit of like I guess that blue and white color anyway. We got Vecna there with the clock, and then kind of like the vines that kind of give him his power. And the second Joker, we got the Demogorgon there with some more vines. They're coming out like the portal there, or like the little ripped. And we got the custom Ace of Spades there with the blue spade there, kind of like almost a waffle design there in the back. Or like a, yeah, and then you got 11 there. And I think that's like the season 4 11. And then you got, and then it just says Stranger Things, Theory11 at the bottom. And you got the custom half and half spade design there with a little bit of silver metallic ink. And then the custom font there in the corners. That goes throughout the spades. And now for the core cards here, which we all know is Theory11 core cards here. They're fully custom there with custom characters. And these are custom characters obviously from Stranger Things. So for the Jack here, we got Joe Keery there with the spike bat. And they're on that kind of blue and gray colorway. Then you got Robin there in her Scoops Ahoy kind of little ice cream outfit there. And then you got Dustin there with the little D20 there. And then there's like walkie-talkie radio mic there. And then you got the custom Ace of Diamonds there, which is that kind of little arcade sign there. And you got the custom half and half diamonds once again there with that silver metallic ink. And you got the Jack, Queen, and King. Once again, 3 more custom characters. There, and you got Eddie there for the Jack there, which is guitar. And you can slightly see the Hellfire Club shirt there. And then you got another, and then the other side, it's a kind of a double and double. Two characters for one. And then you got Billy there, which is like kind of like the lifeguard whistle there. And then you got Max here for the Queen there with her skateboard and her headphones on. And then you got Lucas there with a slingshot there on the King. And he's got a basketball. And then for the Jack, Queen, and King clubs here, you got the Byers family. So you got Will in his Will the Wise outfit. There, and he has some crayons there and a D20 again. And then you got Joyce Byers there with the axe. And then a little doll there. And then for the Jack here, Jack of Clubs, you got what's his name? Oh, what can't I think of his name? We got Will's brother there with the camera there. I just almost had it in my head. Yep, no, I legit, Jonathan. His name is Jonathan there. And then you got the custom half and half design for the clubs with the custom club design. And you got the custom club design there. With a little Indiana sign there. It says welcome to, and it says Hawkins, but it's kind of crossed out. It says hell. And you got the custom heart design court cards here. And then you got Mike Wheeler there, which is walkie-talkie. There, and then you got the AV Club little radio there. And then you got Mike's sister, Nancy Wheeler there. And then you got Chief Hopper there, the chief of Hawkins Police. There was some more silver metallic ink. And then you got the half and half heart design there. And then lastly, you got the Ace of Hearts, which is Starcourt Mall there. And then the last two cards in the deck, you got a little ag card here. It's a kind of little Hellfire Club little ag card here. And then you got that, once again, you got the little alphabet Christmas lights on the wall there. And then you kind of got a little Demogorgon or Vecna's hand going through the wall there. Right now, let's take a look at the cards, time to test the handling. And I'm not entirely sure what stock or finish this is. I want to say just the nicest playing company because that's mainly what Theory11 uses. But anyways, we'll test it out. And I gotta say, straight out of the box, there's definitely a little bit of stiffness to them. There. So you definitely have to slightly break them in. But there should be no issues with the handling. Pretty good springs though. I like a thicker spring. You got fantastic fans there. They fan pretty evenly. You got that nice shiny back design there with that blue holographic. Always love a good holographic back design. And then you got the Pharaoh. Pretty decent Pharaoh. Then you're gonna get a crazy giant fan with this nice holographic colorway. Oh yeah, nice shiny giant fan. I gotta say, Theory11 has spared no detail on this deck, from the backline to the court cards, and just the cards in general, like the faces of the cards. There. Like I said, they do handle fantastic, but they're a little bit stiff straight out of the box, so you're gonna have to break them in there, because some people might not like that, like the stiffness to them. Yeah, but it doesn't bother me too much. I kind of prefer a thicker, like a stiffer decks there. But overall, I gotta say a fantastic deck. And Stranger Things is one of my favorite TV shows, so I really like the deck. And this blue edition is a fun edition, only limited too. Yeah, these are, I don't know if I mentioned it or not, but these are only limited or exclusive to the Stranger Things box set from Theory11 there. So you can only get them through that there, but they look stunning there with that blue holographic backs on there. And the fully custom faces there, from the aces to the core cards and all the aces. Well, obviously the ace of spades, but then the rest of the aces are slightly fully custom there, which I really like when they make custom Ace of Spades. But I guess, with that being said, I hope you enjoyed, and this has been day 611 of your daily deck review, and this has been the Blue Edition, or the Upside Down Edition of the Stranger Things playing cards from Theory11, and I'm the Calculator, signing out. That's the video. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.